Hey everybody, Mike from MyTekki here. Here with a brand new look at Windows 10 technical preview. This is actually the new Windows that's coming out. They released it for tech people like myself and other tech companies out there, as well as any other IT enthusiast. So basically, they skipped over Windows 9. They're no longer doing Windows 9. They're going to do a Windows 10. And what their goal is to basically have a universal Windows platform, so that it can be installed on any device. You can install it on a workstation, you can install it on a Xbox, you can install it on whatever. It doesn't matter. So it's a universal system, and they were looking at one point in time, based upon the rumors and the leaks and everything else, to just call it Windows. But they've decided on the Windows 10 name. That's what it's basically come out to be right now, is the Windows Technical Preview, or Windows 10. And they've done a lot of new things, and we're going to go and show you some of those new things today. So those who are familiar with Windows 8 or Windows 8.1, in Windows 8 there was no start button at all in the bottom left corner. In Windows 8.1 they did a start button as well, but it brought you to your, basically your dashboard, so to speak, your Metro UI interface, which now you can see you actually have your old start menu back. So this is actually a hybrid start menu, actually. So it has all the apps like you would see in the other system. So you have your whole like People app, Store app, Mail app, News app, all these things, and it actually supports live tiles here. You can see that this News app is actually a cycling tile, and it supports live tiles. But you have all of your old stuff too. Like if you go to All Apps, they don't call it Programs anymore, because they want to go ahead and they want to push this whole app thing, this new app thing that's coming out, and everyone's getting little apps for this and apps for that. So you can see that there's a bunch of little apps in here that are come pre-default in the system. Now this has just been installed. It is 10/1 of 2014 at 10:34 in the morning. I had just installed this maybe 30 minutes ago, and I just went ahead and booted it up, and this is actually right after I logged in and everything. This is what you see. So you can see I didn't log in with a email from Microsoft, which they recommend that you do, but I went ahead and created a local account called Mike Daniels. It's actually called MyTekki, but the Mike Daniels is the name I called it. And you can see here that you have, like you had before, you can click on that and you can go to change picture, lock, sign out, switch account. So you don't have like what you used to have when you clicked on that, which brought you to your actual profile, so to speak, by default, where you had like your documents folders and everything else, like this PC, and you have your user. So they don't have that anymore. They call it home now, and that's where your stuff is under home. So that home profile is still located under the C users, your user. In this case, actually, I connected it to domain, excuse me. So your user, and then it's the same location, just like all the older versions of Windows. It's still under the same root directory. So those IT people, you'll still be able to find everything just fine. However, there's a lot of other little tips and tricks there. So in Windows 8 and 8.1, a lot of the reason why people didn't like it was because there was no start button. That's the biggest complaint that they had. However, as a user side, so my IT side says the same thing. I don't like it because there's no start button. I'm used to getting the things certain ways, and I was not able to find certain things easily because of the fact that they moved places. However, from a user experience, I'd have to say, if putting my IT side away, it was actually easier than the other Windows 7, because Windows 7 came out with an awesome feature, those little search box down here. You can type whatever you want in it and it comes up. Normally, like whether it's an application or if it's a file or if it's a program of some sort, you can type it in there and it'll pop up. The same thing actually was in the case with Windows 8 and Windows 8.1. They have what they call a file segregation standpoint, or type segregation is what they really looked at it. And basically it would set it up in files, settings, and I can't remember the other one, but off the top of my head, but files, settings, and something else. And basically you can search anything you want and it will come up for you, and you can look through your files, you can go to settings, you can look through your settings. I think the other one was called like control panels or something of that nature. And you can look through your control panels. So here you can see that you don't have that whole Metro interface anymore. Your tiles are all right here, and your apps actually open up in Windows, just like so. Like this is a Windows 8 or Windows app not an actual desktop application. But if I open it up, it actually opens up like a desktop application in a window. So you can see right here, I'm opening the store right now, and I'm logged. We're in the store, and I can resize the window if I want to resize the window. I can go vertical. I can do the whole little thing. We can snap or whatever we want to do. Full screen. We can close it. And now that whole charms thing. Remember how you go in the bottom right hand corner and you go try to get that charms window up with the little share thing and the Windows start interface? It's gone. No more. But they have now minimized it up into this little left corner here with this little dot. You see it right here? But click on that, you'll see that here's your charms thing now. We got our share, we got our play, we got our search, we got a new thing called project. We'll explain that a little bit later in another video. We got settings, so we can come into settings, and our settings panel pops open just like it did in Windows 8. We can come up in here, we can go to full screen mode. Now this is going to be more like you're used to in Windows 8. So we come in here, we come in full screen, it's now full screened out. And if we want to get out of full screen, we can just press our Windows key on our keyboard and that thing pops up and we can go from there. And so we can come in here and right click on this and click on it again and it comes out of full screen mode. I believe there's also gestures. I'm not on a gestured computer right now, but I believe there's also gestures where you can make a gesture on a touch computer to pull that back down. I think it's like a 3-finger squeeze or something like that, and it pulls it back from full screen. I think a 3-finger squeeze goes to full screen. So a lot of little things that they've added into this setup here. You can close it, and again, it runs like a desktop app. You can unpin it from your start bar, all that fun stuff. You can pin apps right to your start bar instead of just pinning desktop applications. So if we want to go to like a desktop application like Microsoft Paint or something like that, it opens up like normal, like you're used to. So you got rid of this whole like, okay, I have a desktop interface that's an app within another desktop interface. So they've gotten rid of that whole experience. What they have done, which has been inside, if you're an operating system enthusiast and an IT enthusiast like me, and you check out pretty much any operating system you can to get your hands on because it's fun, in my opinion. You're going to notice that like Linux and OS X, which is Macintosh, and Linux and a couple other distributions of Linux, has what they call virtual desktops. And Windows has never had this. They've kind of sticking away from the idea of the virtual desktop. But now, in Windows 10, they're brand new people, right? So they came out with virtual desktops. Really, really cool thing. In my opinion, I really enjoyed it. But basically what you can do is, let's say this was a laptop for your company, and they allowed you to take the laptop home. And, you're going to take it home, and when you're at home, you do certain things, and when you're at the company, you do certain things. Well, you now have the ability to go ahead and pop open your task view, and you can see that you have these different programs open, and kind of like if you're doing Alt-Tab. But you can also hit Add Desktop, and you can actually add a whole other desktop, and you can create like a home desktop and a work desktop. So maybe on the work desktop, I'm running like, calculator, and I'm running, maybe some, PCs, pictures folder or something like that. And then at home, on my home desktop, I'm running, maybe I'm running, I don't know, Paint, because I felt like running Paint. And so you can create all these different desktops down here, and you can close your desktops out, and basically it's what they call virtual desktops. So you can have multiple monitors, so to speak, without having to have multiple monitors. You just have to flip back and forth through them. And you can actually drag them through. So if you click on here, let's say for example, I go to Task View, and I wanted the Paint to be on another desktop. So I can add a desktop here, and then I come back in here and I go to my Task View, and I can click on this one. And if I drag it into, oh, okay. Well, I thought I saw that in the preview, but I guess not. Is it moved to desktop? Well, I guess they took that out. So, call me a liar. But anyway, so you can close it out. So if you close it out, if you notice, if I close this desktop with a bunch of apps running on it, it automatically switches it over to my other desktop. Because they don't want to close your apps that are actually running in case you actually close a virtual desktop that has like Word open and with an unsaved file or something like that. So they switch it automatically on the fly. And again, that search box down in the bottom left hand corner works very similar to Windows 7 if you're used to it. The only difference is it also pulls up apps and everything else. So if I type in store, you're going to see that that app shows up. If I type in sticky, you're going to see the desktop app shows up. If I create a new file on my desktop, which I really like, by the way, test folder, they've done a really good job in updating the Windows cache really fast. So if I type in test folder and I search it, your search comes up. Come on. Huh? Well, Windows bug. Okay, so I went to the web. Maybe they didn't do a good job. I saw it in another preview. There it goes, test folder. That's my previous search. I don't know why it's not showing up. Normally it will show up, but if for some reason it's not showing up now. But now in your search window here too, so if you don't use your search box and type, like for example Google, and you use this search here instead, which is the way Microsoft is trying to push you to go, you can go ahead and type in like Google, and it will actually give you web searches as well as local searches. So if I typed in, for example, welcome, you're going to see that I have the welcome to Detroit app, welcome to Egypt app, and this is just a shortcut, but if there's files, it would list files here as well. So basically you can search with the web and search your local computer at the same time. You can notice also a lot of little differences here, like within your file explorer, the icon has changed to a more flatter view, like a little 2D, so to speak, view. They're doing a lot of that in the changing. You can see this PC is like more of a flat view rather than like a 3D desktop looking icon. The network has not really changed much. They just kind of updated it a little bit to be more flat and bland. The desktop, you can definitely see has changed quite a bit to more of a flat 2D, you know, looking just icon with a really flat charcoal, or not charcoal, chalk style coloring, where it's just really bland. I don't particularly care for that. I actually like the 3D popping icons, but changes change. So it's still the same thing. You can click on desktop and it brings you into your desktop. Now this is one thing that they don't do in Windows 7. And I don't believe they do it in Windows 8 either. When you go to your desktop through Explorer, you automatically get your other items that you have that are hidden by default. So back before, you used to have to right click, go to properties, go to under right click on the desktop, go to personalize, go to change desktop icons and add them to your desktop. Then they would show up in an Explorer or on your actual desktop itself. So they've kind of done a twist on that. If you don't want them to show up on your desktop, you don't have to check them off here and they won't show on your desktop. But when you're in the actual File Explorer itself, they automatically show there for you to open up really quick. So the desktop is now becoming kind of like more of a go-to point, so to speak, on your computer. That's why when you open up your File Explorer, it defaults to Home, as we talked about before, which has your documents, your music, your pictures like normal. And you notice how it also shows your desktop folders as well. So more folders you create on your desktop is under your frequent folders here. And under your favorites, you have this right here. So you don't have this whole profile type of deal. It's the home is your profile, so to speak. So if you put your frequent folders under documents, pictures, and favorites, that's fine. But it's not going to do anything for you under your left-hand side like you just have a profile. So if we switch it over to, like, for example, I bring out my personal computer here. You guys can probably see this. You have what they call libraries. And that was kind of like your home folder, hopefully you're able to see this. I don't know if I just showed that one window or if I'm showing the whole screen here. But you'll have libraries on the left-hand side. You have documents, music, pictures, and videos. While on this section, you don't have that libraries anymore. It's either frequent folders or home. And if you want to create your own library, you basically can create a new favorite. So if you go into your C drive, you go into your, let's say you wanted the desktop and the downloads, everything, you can put them in your favorites folder and it'll show up on your home. Or you can do, like, for example, let's do like a new folder on my, we'll just do users, Mike Daniels. And so I have all these folders here, and I can just drag Mike Daniels into my favorites, and when I go home, Mike Daniels shows up. But it's a shortcut. It's not on the left-hand side. So they don't have libraries on the left-hand side anymore. The quick way, easy way to get to your documents. So you either have to drop them in your favorites, or you gotta basically create it'll be in your frequent folders, one or the other. So if you're constantly going to a certain folder that's on your network, constantly going to a certain folder that's, you know, on your desktop, whatever, they'll come up in your home under your frequent folders, which is nice. Let's see, what else can I show you? Everything has kind of remained the same as far as like when you go into the settings, as we showed a second ago. You're in the settings window, shows up PC settings. You still get that whole Windows 8-esque feel. Yeah, PC and devices, so you can do all the little Windows 8 settings, change your desktop background, on your display, change your size and all that. Or if you want to get back to it like the old school days, you can. You can right click and go to screen resolution, and then the old Windows 7 style, Windows Vista style pops up, and you can change your resolution there instead of changing it to the PC settings. If you want to go into your old control panel, you can actually just type in now in your thing, just like Windows 7 control panel, and you'll have either PC settings or you can have your control panel. So PC settings, again, being like the Windows 8 type of deal, where you're getting that Windows 8 feel, or control panel being the old Windows 7, Windows Vista style control panel, when you can go into like this. So they kind of blended the two together, right? You have this whole PC setting, or Windows 8 feel, as well as the Windows 7 feel, giving people back their beloved start menu, and kind of basically catering to the enterprise/business users that would not upgrade their machines to Windows 8 because of that learning curve. That learning curve was very, very, you know, a good peak and a good jumping to someone who's used to a start menu to go to no start menu. So they kind of blended that in, say, okay, look, we want this app thing to work out. We really like this app feature, this whole store concept everyone's trying to go to, like Apple's going to, and Linux has gone to for years. They call it their, I can't remember, library, not library, I can't remember the name of it right now, but they basically have a location that you can download files, download apps, download programs. That's the same thing that they're trying to do in Windows 7 or Windows 8 and Windows 10 here. Apple's gone to the same thing. When you want to upgrade your operating system now, you download it from the App Store. You don't actually go ahead and get a disk, stick it in, or anything like that. Everything is virtual technical world. Files, everything is digital. Nothing is more hard media. So just a little look at Windows 10 for you guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I'll be giving more posts and more things I find out that I don't like or I do like. What do you guys like? What do you guys don't like about Windows 10 that I've showed you so far? Obviously there's been some bugs. You know, it is a technical preview, so there's still some bugs in the system that they're trying to work out. But what do you not like about Windows 10 from what you can see? Or what do you like that you've heard? Or maybe you've heard about a feature that I didn't go ahead and describe or show you in this video, and you want to look at it? Send me an email, write a comment, whatever you guys want to do, and we'll go ahead and display that for you, no problem. Have yourself a wonderful day, and until next time, bye-bye.